One story that I'd like to share with you has to do with when our 11th child was a newborn, and Nancy and I needed a break from all the noise at home. So this kid now is a horse. He wears a size 13 shoe, and he's going to be 6'5", I'm sure, by the time he's done. He's 14 years old. But when he was a newborn baby, Nancy and I, his name's Stephen, we took him with us. We went to the local Olive Garden, and the waitress gave us our menus and then sat us down and started talking with Nancy about the baby, boy or girl, how old, typical questions. Then she asked Nancy the question that neither she nor I wanted her to ask, which was, is he your first? And Nancy looked at me and raised her eyebrows as if to say, do you want to tell her? And I shook my head, no, you can tell her. So she said, he's our 11th. Now this poor woman, she couldn't take it. She ran off and got 3 or 4 other waitresses, brought them to our table, and they're standing there looking at us, and it was clear from the expressions on their faces, it was as if like the freak show had just shown up at Olive Garden. So they're looking at this, they're saying, 11 kids, and isn't that expensive, and why would you do that? All the negativity. And I could see on their faces, they're looking at her saying, you poor thing. And they're looking at me and thinking, you monster, what is wrong with you? And then they started talking about their own personal contraceptive habits. So one of them said, well, I have 2 kids and I'm on the pill. And the other one laughed and said, yeah, well, I got my tubes tied. And the other one cackled and said, yeah, well, I made my husband have a vasectomy. And I'm sitting there thinking, I just want to have a plate of lasagna. I don't want to know any of this stuff, especially not right now. So it was weird and very negative and all that. So in the midst of all this, my lovely wife, I'll never forget it, she just smiled at them and she said in a very calm voice, she just said, well, my husband and I believe that children are a blessing from God, and we believe in being open to life so that God will bless our marriage. And that's all she said, just like that, in that tone of voice, simple. And it was enough to kind of quell all the controversy. So the waitresses, they went back to work, and we ate our meal. We kind of laughed, isn't that ridiculous? We ate our food, and 45 minutes or so later, I paid the bill, got the baby, went out to the minivan. And as we were getting into the minivan, I heard footsteps running up behind us. And I turned around to see who it was, and it was our waitress. And she had run the length of the parking lot down to where we were parked at the end, and under the street light above, I could see tears in her eyes. And she said, I'm so glad I caught you. I didn't want you to leave without saying thank you. And I knew she wasn't talking to me because the tip was not that big. So she said, I just wanted to say thank you. And I said, or she was talking to Nancy, and she said, what you said in there, she said about children being a blessing from God. She said, my husband and I have 2 kids. I'm on the pill, and I've never heard anything like that before. She said, but when you said that, I realized it's true. And she said, it really stirred my heart. And I can't explain it, but I've decided I'm getting off the pill. When I go home tonight after my shift, I'm telling my husband, because I want God to bless my marriage, and I didn't want you to leave without saying thank you. She gave Nancy a hug. She went back inside. We've never seen her again.